So if the House and the Senate pass a bill that's identical, Phil's Corn Law 1 and Phil's Corn Law 1, or Phil's Corn Law 2 and Phil's Corn Law 2, whatever it happens to be, once it passes the House, once it passes the Senate, it can go directly to the president for a signature. And then it's up to the president to decide what they want to do. But if the House and the Senate pass different bills on the same topic, there are a couple ways that that can be resolved. Because again, it's not the case that if the House passes Phil's Corn Law 1 and the Senate passes Phil's Corn Law 2, that the president gets to look at them both and like, I like this one better than that one. They both have to pass the exact same law, exact same language, exact same everything. Well, one of the things that can happen is the bill can ping pong back and forth between the House and the Senate. So what do I mean by ping pong? The House passed Phil's Corn Law 1. The Senate passed Phil's Corn Law 2, right? And so let's say the Senate sends Phil's Corn Law 2 back to the House, and the House is like, I don't like this. So the House makes some changes to the bill, and what they do is they pass it, and they pass Phil's Corn Law 1.25, and they send that to the Senate. The Senate gets the bill, and they're not happy with that bill, and so they make some changes to it, and they pass Phil's Corn Law 1.75. Now they're getting closer to one another, but they still can't agree on it. And they send Phil's Corn Law 1.75 back to the House. And the House is like, okay, let's make some adjustments to this. And they pass Phil's Corn Law 1.5, the middle ground right between Phil's Corn Law 1 and Phil's Corn Law 2. And they send that to the Senate. And the Senate's like, okay, that's fine. Let's pass that. Now the Senate passes Phil's Corn Law 1.5. At that point, Phil's Corn Law 1.5 can go directly to the president. Why? Because the House has passed Phil's Corn Law 1.5. The Senate has passed Phil's Corn Law 1.5. And so since the House and the Senate passed the identical bill, it can go to the president. The other way to resolve differences between the two houses is to create something called a conference committee. Now, a conference committee isn't like a full committee. It isn't like a standing committee that's there all the time. Conference committees are created just to address a specific bill. So there might be a conference committee for Phil's Corn Law 1.5, but if in the transportation committee, the House, or if there's a bill on transportation and the House and the Senate pass different bills, they'll create a conference committee for that bill. If there's a bill that passed the Education Committee in the House that's different than one that passed the Education Committee in the Senate, they'll create a conference committee for that. So this isn't like a full committee with subcommittees. This is just a committee that's getting together specifically for the purposes of trying to resolve the differences between the House bill and the Senate bill. Now, this committee includes members of the House and the Senate. Typically what it includes are senior members of the full committee. So it'll be the members of the Agricultural Committee in the House, usually the ranking member and the chair, and there'll be other members as well, but there'll be whatever the majority party is, they'll have more members than the minority party. The same thing on the Senate side, there'll be the chair and then the ranking member and other members of the committee, but there'll be more members of the majority party than the minority party. And that way, if the majority party is able to pass it, if they can come up with a compromise. Now, first, let's say they get together and they're negotiating, they're trying to figure out what to do, and they can't come up with a compromise. In that case, the bill dies. It's dead. It's gone all the way through the House. It's gone all the way through the Senate. Got this conference committee together. They can't come up with a compromise. The bill is dead. End of story. But let's say they come up with a compromise. Just like I said before when I gave my example of the ping pong going back and forth. They negotiate and they finally agree on Phil's Corn Law 1.5, and the conference committee votes on it and they pass Phil's Corn Law 1.5. Can that bill now go to the president? Tricky question. The answer is no. And the reason why is because for a bill to go to the president, it has to pass the House and it has to pass the Senate, right? What's happened here is the conference committee came up with a compromise. So what has to happen first is Phil's Corn Law 1.5 has to go back to the House for a vote and back to the Senate for a vote. Now, they don't have to go through the whole process of, the subcommittees and all that. They vote on the entire bill, and it's called an up or down vote. Basically means this: you can't propose amendments. Not in the House, not in the Senate. No amendments. You either vote yes or you vote no. It's kind of like having a closed rule. You know how they have closed rules in the House where no one can propose amendments? A bill that comes out of the conference committee there can't be any amendments to it. Either vote yes or no. That's that phrase, up or down vote. Now, if a simple majority in both chambers pass Phil's Corn Law 1.5, it goes to the president. And for our purposes, we're going to assume that that's exactly what happens. Now, the bill is on the president's desk. What happens? On the lecture notes, it says that there are 5 possible outcomes once a bill winds up on the president's desk. Now, if in bold font, I have the bill becomes a law if, and there are 3 things listed. And then below that, it says the bill does not become a law if, and there are 2 things listed. So those are your 5 options. My recommendation is if you get this question on your essay, answer it in this format. Because what happens is a lot of times students will go back and forth. They'll say it becomes a law if this happens, but if this happens, it doesn't become a law. If this happens, it does become a law. If this happens, it doesn't become a law. And more often than not, what happens is they forget one of them. So just know that there are 3 ways, once a bill winds up on the president's desk, that it can become a law. And there are 2 ways where it won't become a law. And when you write your essay, I want you to follow that format, because that way you're not going to forget anything. You'll be able to look at your answer and you'll be able to, hopefully you'll have written it out ahead of time on the study guide. But if you look at your answer and you notice, oh, I've only included 2 ways that it became a law and 2 that it didn't, you're missing something. So that's my recommendation. This is going to be kind of a short video, so I'm going to just do the role of the president in the next video, and so you'll have like 2 shorter videos. I'm sure you won't mind.